Hey guys, Enready here, and today I thought I would rank Romero's Dead films from worst to best. Originally I was just going to stick with the Romero directed movies, and then I remembered that there were some remakes and a sequel. I do not own the three worst movies uh, in my rankings, so I'll rush through those real quick until I get to the ones that I do have. Alright, this is also old back issue of Video Watchdog. It details the differences between the three cuts of Dawn of the Dead, and I figured I'd just hold this up until I can get to the actual movies that were worth talking about or showing, because I actually have this from the show. Alright, at number 11 we have Day of the Dead 2 Contagium. I really wish this film didn't exist. It's a shame that Romero didn't have the rights to Day of the Dead, that someone was able to go ahead and make their own fake sequel. I mean, how can you make a part 2 to a film that was a third part in the series? It makes no sense to me. Alright, at number 11, we have The Night of the Living Dead 3D. I really hated that film. The worst thing about it, aside from turning Ben white, was that the fact that they actually showed the characters watching the real Night of the Living Dead on TV before the zombies attack. And then when the zombies attack, they don't know what to do even though they watched the movie. It was really dumb. Alright, and at number 9, we have the Day of the Dead remake from 2008. That film, it was alright. I think the problem that I had with it was that they were trying to one-up the Dawn of the Dead remake, where they had running zombies. So the zombies in these ones, and in this remake, can actually climb walls and stuff. It really makes no sense. There's no reason for it. They were just trying to, thinking, hey, running zombies were cool, so let's have them climb walls. It's really stupid. Alright, let me open this up for a second before I get into the other movies that I want to talk about. I don't know if this is actually coming up right. There's George Romero there. There's the cast here. This is a really great issue. I'm glad I picked this one up when I had the chance. And there's the money shot there. Alright, let's get started. The rest of this countdown. At number 8, we have Survival of the Dead. This is my least favorite of the Romero movies. It's just too comical for me, and I don't know what he was going for with this one. Like, it was independent, but I don't know. This one really should have been called Island of the Dead, but for some reason they probably couldn't get the rights to that title. Alright, so not too much more to say about this one. This is a nice lenticular cover, but I prefer the single disc edition artwork better. Right. At number 7, we have Land of the Dead. This one's kind of interesting, but there's something about the zombies when they start thinking. It makes it almost like they're human or something or whatever. It's just, I don't know what he was going for on that one. Although the socio-political stuff was spot on and even ahead of its time for, the big economic crash in 2008. Like, one of the themes in his series has always been about people pretending that everything was normal. In this one, the people living in the walled off city shopping and stuff when there's zombies outside. I don't know. Alright. See, number 6, we have Diary of the Dead. I actually did enjoy this one a bit more than I thought, even though it kind of reboots the series in a way, with starting at the beginning of the zombie crisis. A lot of people would probably think of this as a found footage film, but it's really a social media film where it shows stuff like YouTube and other, newsfeed video of the zombie outbreak. I don't know. It's alright. It's just a little bit, he was a little bit slow on this one. If this one came out a couple years earlier, it would have been cutting edge. Alright. At number, I think it's number 5, we have the original Day of the Dead. I did like this movie a lot. It's the goriest of all the Dead films. The only problem I have with it is that the script was compromised. Romero couldn't get the money he needed to do the script he originally had, so we had to really scale back. So what we get is a bunch of people screaming at each other most of the time until the shit hits the fan towards the end of the movie in the last 20 minutes. Although I did like the scenes with Bub, though. That was a great character. Alright, next up, this is number 4. We have Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead remake. I really did enjoy this one a lot. It fairly closely follows the template of the original Night of the Living Dead. Changes a couple of changes here and there. The main thing I like about this one is that this one fully establishes that anyone who dies comes back from the dead no matter what. Where people were getting confused with the series where they thought that the bites did it. But for those who haven't seen this, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie Ben gets shot and he dies from being shot, and then when Barbara comes back to save him, he's a zombie in the basement. And then I think she shoots him. But I really enjoyed this one. Alright, this one actually would make a really good lead-in to the Land of the Dead, with a lot of the way they treat the zombies and stuff in that. Be a better sequel to this than Day of the Dead. Alright, at number 3 we have the Dawn of the Dead remake. I really enjoyed this one, especially the first 20 minutes of this movie are totally awesome. I just wish the rest of the movie could have matched the first 20 minutes. Had it did that, it would have been number 1 on my list. But I really enjoyed this one. They were talking about doing a remake to this, a sequel to this one, but they never did get around to it. It's been 8 years since this came out, and this one did make a decent amount of money. Alright, here's where it gets kind of tricky. Down to my top 2, and at number 2 we have the original Dawn of the Dead. It's tricky because this is really my favorite of Romero's Dead films, but favorite and best are two different things. And this would have been the best, but there's one scene towards the end with the bikers, and they have this pie fight, and they're throwing pies at the zombies. And I thought that was just too silly, and it didn't make much sense, to actually really do that, like, in real life. Even though, everybody knows zombies aren't real. Or are they? Who knows? Alright, but I still love this film. It's one of the few films I can still watch as an adult that I loved as a kid. Alright, so it just leaves us, obviously, to number 1, which is the original Night of the Living Dead. This film is damn near perfect, sure, it's probably the least gore-raced of all the movies talked about today, but this was the only film that scared me when I was a little kid. I originally watched this when I was 8 years old, late at night by myself, and I got so scared, like towards the end of the movie when everybody was dying and Ben had to go downstairs and shoot that couple, that I turned it off. And I turned it back, and then it was off, because I was actually watching this on TV back at the time, and I had to wait a whole year to see how it ended. Alright guys, that's it. That's my list. Let me know what you think, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.